Jamie from Inky&Scrappy sharing with you today. Get creeping on Halloween, January 2023. And can you see my glass mat is actually clean and you can kind of see some real estate around it on my desktop? I know it rarely ever happens, but I was getting Christmas off of it. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I got some Christmas stuff done. And it really did need a good cleaning. So I do use hand sanitizer in the gel to get all of the grime off of it. It soaks the ink and the adhesive that might be on there very well. It gets most of it off. I come back in with a razor to get off whatever doesn't get off. And then of course I do a water cleanup afterwards to get all of the conditioners that are in the hand sanitizer off of my mat as well. It doesn't leave a film that way, or it gets the film off. So I am playing with some new stamps. I have the Wanna Bone set from Ink Road Stamps that just came in, so of course that one had to get used. I pulled out one of my favorites from Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, the Monster Reunion set. I love that lady in that one. And which other? And then I pulled out two new ones that I picked up this year on Joann's that were on clearance. I think I used one of them. So I did bring one of those in as well. And then of course I dug through my stash and found some other fun things. So the best part about get creeping on Halloween is I get to revisit Halloween at least once a month and, you know, shop the stash that I already have. I always buy more stuff and don't always get around to using it in the season. And so this is definitely a way for me to enjoy it. And Halloween is probably one of my most crafty inspiration areas. I think that I just enjoy doing it. I tend to do a lot more mixed media when it comes to Halloween stuff, and I just let my little creative heart do its thing. And so this one was kind of inspired by November's Get Creeping on Halloween, which was a mixed media project. It was done on a 5x7 piece of wood, 5x7x2 piece of wood, and so I kind of liked the vibe on that one. It definitely kind of has a creepy lovers vibe, and so I decided, since Valentine's is coming up and I've been working on Valentine's stuff, this one kind of just had that, you know, fun Valentine's / gothic Halloween feel to it as well. So I did bring in one of Stampers Anonymous. This is older stamp sets. This one is, I want to say it's Life of the Party for the creepy spider webs here. And then I'm just going to heat emboss that, or set it and heat emboss it. I should have heat embossed the clear ink on it, but used VersaMark clear ink instead of VersaFine Onyx Black. You'll see it gets lost in my colors later on. It's still there. It's subtle. You know, when I go mixed media, a lot of times I don't plan anything out. I just start going and moving, and sometimes it doesn't work and you cover up something that you thought you were going to love. And I did like it, but it got covered up, so I needed to adjust. So I am bringing in some Distress Mica spray stains, some Distress Oxide spray stains, and some Distress spray stains. So I'm sticking with my purple palette today. I was feeling purple. My brother's favorite color was purple. So that was definitely where that color inspiration came in. And of course that plaid purple that was in the Echo Park Halloween Magic paper pack was, you know, the inspiration for my color palette for sure. So I'm thinking that one was Villainous Potion was my darkest purple. My lighter purple was Wilted Violet, which I think I did it in an Oxide spray. I don't remember. You know, Seedless Preserves. Sorry, my Oxide spray was Seedless Preserves. And then Villainous Potion in the Distress. I actually wrote it down. I'm impressed with myself today. And then I took both of the purples that came in with those mica spray stains. So if you don't have those, you know, any purple in your stash will work. I just did an array of purples. I think one is Fortune Teller. I don't remember what the other. Is there 2 purples in the mica spray stains? There are 2 in the mica spray stains. So last year's purple and this year's purple, because, you know, I have to have all the things. And then because we can't waste all that extra goodness that is sitting in my splat box, I came in with a piece of scrap white piece of paper. Well, it's not really a scrap. It was an A2 size panel of white paper and put that over the top. My actual panel was actually done on some, I think it was Bristol Vellum cardstock. It was not Bristol Smooth, and it was not Distress Media Stock or heavy stock, whatever that one's called. I pulled some of my colors out, or pulled my 320 set of Hoo-Hoos out, and I kind of color matched my colors to what my background colors were. And so I just picked a variety of purples, and then for her hair, I am going to come in with some warm grays. I will pull in a warm gray one from Hoo-Hoo that kind of has, to me, it has more of a creamy brown or a creamy gray, like a brownish gray feel, kind of a skin tone feel to it, I guess, a dead skin tone feel. I use it as my bones. I like it. It is what it is. I did come in with a gray CO1 for the bones on this one, but for the hands I come in with a little bit different color. I'm going in with my darkest purple that I pulled out for her outfit here, and then coming in with that lighter one for the outfit, and then finishing that off. And then for my skeleton bones, I wanted them to have a purple sheen to them, or glow to them per se. And so I came in with a really light purple first, and then I'm coming in with that W1. And of course, I took them over to my brother's Scan and Cut and hope for the best. There's me saying hi. I'm actually reaching for my splat box under my desk, and I was being lazy and didn't want to stand up and bend over, so I was on my sit-stand stool, and yeah. You got to see me. Hi. How you doing? Anyways, so the Brother Scan and Cut did cut out amazingly well. I was very impressed, and I don't think it would have cut out as well if I hadn't colored them first, just because it would have wanted a solid line on the bottom. And because I don't like to futz with computer programs and all of the things, I just come back in and grab my colors from my splat box to match my backgrounds. It's a very simple way to fill in those areas that you would either have to fussy cut out or leave them white and then they'd look funny. So this way I'm pulling the colors straight from my splat box that I used on the background, so it will blend seamlessly with that background, you know, aside from having all of the other mixed media layers on top. But it makes life a little bit easier. I did do some fussy cutting on the inside of the skeleton hands here because I wanted my little lady friend to go in the middle. So I will just fussy cut that out. And I could have cut a hole in the bottom, but I kept them together. So there is your screenshot or your live shot of all of the colors that I used to color them. So if that was something you had questions on, you can go back and push pause and grab those there. Maybe I'll go back and push pause and grab them and put them in the blog post. I probably should. Okay, I probably will. No promises though. I also am pulling out I don't know how old this stamp is. I got it from Nanny when I was there last April cleaning her crafty area, and she was getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and you know, it's very Halloween, and I liked it. So it ended up coming home in my stuff from Nanny's stash that she was getting rid of. I did do some anti-static powder on my background. My background is dry here, or was very dry before I began this part. And then used some white embossing powder to make that kind of pop out. I think if I would have done the cobwebs in white, I wouldn't have needed this step, but I like it nonetheless. It's a pretty stamp. And you did see me actually put my paper face down on it, and I rubbed over it with my Trinity Stamps stamping buddy or stamp tool, whatever. It's supposed to be for like on your Misty, but I think I've started using it for this way for background stamps, and I really like it for that purpose. I'm not very great about grabbing it for using it on my Misty. It might change over time, but usually I'm wearing sweaters, so I can just pull my sweater down and rub it over my palm, and you know, it's the same effect but faster, so that's how I roll. I am positioning my little, is it Elvira? We'll call her Elvira. I think that's who she reminds me of. I don't know. So we're putting little Elvira inside these skeleton hands that make a heart. And then I'm just monkeying around with those little bones. So you see the bones are encompassing her or trying to, you know, close in around her. And then for my panel, I did run it through my die cut machine with Lawn Fawn's stitched rectangle stack. I'm not sure which ones I used. I have the big stack and the littler stack. So a variety of the two to get the biggest panel is obviously the A2 size panel, which comes from the biggest stack. And then this one is either from a smaller size from that big stack or it's from the smaller, I think it's called the small stack. I don't know. They intertwine. And before I added this one on the panel, I decided it needed some ribbon. So I did bring in some satin ribbon, and the satin really stands out. Maybe I should have done the black netting, like fishnet tool. I think it's black tulle. It looks like fishnet to me. Anyways, I could have done that as well, which would have looked really cool. But I ended up grabbing the black satin. It just, you know, it was pretty and it was close at hand. And so I wrapped that around a couple of times, tied it in just a simple knot, and then I'm just going to angle the edges here, or ends here. Wow, I have word problems today. It's all good. I'm going to pick my placement here, and I decided she needs to be popped up with a bunch of foam tape. So I'm going to speed this up really fast here and add all the foam tape. I wish I could do it this fast in real life. It's one of those like annoyances that, you know, it looks cool, but it takes forever. Yeah. Once I have all of my foam tape added, I'm going to slide it onto my card front here, kind of layering it on top and over or over some of those ribbons. And then I'm going to bring in some Glossy Accents. Because she has an eyeball in there, I need my eyeball to be glossy because, you know, it's an eyeball. Should have I done it at this step? Probably not. But I do need to figure out what I'm going to do for a sentiment on this one. I had multiple options laid out before me, and I did end up going with the coordinating one from that Monster Reunion stamp set, the I Put a Spell on You. And I did stamp it twice and add embossing powder to both of them. Just because I never know if it's going to cut out right or stamp right. And this way I just do it 2 right away. I have an extra one or a spare if they both turn out, which I can store with a stamp set. I might have a little basket full of extra sentiments that, you know, I can pull from if I remember that they're there. Well, that is, while my eyeball is drying, I figured I would do the inside of my card. So I am bringing in those bone hands again from the One Bone stamp set from Inky Stamps. And then I'm going to pull in it's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus from this mixed media mashup from Joann's. I know they have this one in red rubber too. I do not have the red rubber one. It was on clearance for like $3 for the whole thing. So that's why I ended up with this one. And then I don't need to buy the red rubber one because I really don't need more Halloween stamps. I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I stamped that first with Seedless Preserves, so more solid, and then I just came back in with Villainous Potion and kind of tapped all over the stamp so it's not solid. It just kind of gives it a two-tone effect, kind of to go with my background there. Then I'm going to line up my die cut here and run that through the die cut. I ended up doing it twice in two different ways because I couldn't decide if I wanted it to be longer or if I wanted it to be shorter. And I think the longer one kind of got hidden with, or it kind of went with the ribbons, or it just didn't stand out as much when I went with the long one. So I did end up going with the shorter cut one. Added that with some foam tape on top of my panel. And then if you do not have, I don't know where this die cut came from. I'm pretty sure it was either an Amazon or a YouTube or maybe even a marketplace find. Like, I think it was just like a whole bunch of heart dies. But it's like amazing because it has little hearts, bigger hearts, so like multiple sizes. I use this one in my January Brewing Up Creativity with Inky&Scrappy card for my red hearts. It just gives such a great variety of hearts. So if you have something like that, if you can find something like that, it's just an amazing. I don't even say that I use the doily that it cuts. You know, the doily or the heart that's left kind of reminds me of those old doilies that we used to decorate our Valentine's boxes with in elementary school. Yeah. But the pop-outs from this one is just amazing. All those little tiny hearts that are multi-sizes, and cut it from glitter cardstock, and you've got like instant embellishments. It's awesome. So you will see me use those little hearts all over the place all through Valentine's Day because they're just an amazing size accent to throw on there. And super cheap because, you know, it's creates lots of them. Of course, I can't stop. I have to add some more. So I'm picking out some more because I wanted a few more bigger ones. And so I'm just poking them through. I do cut that on my steel precision plate so it cuts clean and crisp one time through. Otherwise, I think sometimes I had issues with it sticking in there because it is a, you know, it's a finickier die. So, and so I will add this to my card base with some glue and line it up, squash it down, and still trying to avoid that eyeball because it's probably still a little wet, to be honest. And then, of course, bringing the outside in, I'm going to add 3 more of those little hearts into the inside. Of course I'm going to fiddle. I always fiddle. If you are playing along with Get Creeping on Halloween, please hashtag it. Please tag at Inky&Scrappy so I can come and creep on your Halloween makes as well. Thank you so much for joining me. And I did include a bonus project at the end. So if you made it this far, you get to see that bonus that I created with that other background panel. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing day. Keep getting inky.